The battle had ended, but the smoke still lingered in the air. The ground was covered in scorched metal, broken weapons, and silent bodies. Among the wreckage, a young alien girl lay unconscious, her breathing faint and uneven. Her pale green skin had turned a sickly gray. A deep wound on her side continued to bleed slowly, soaking the metal floor beneath her. Captain Ronan, the only human soldier left standing on that side of the field, spotted her body while scanning for survivors. He moved quickly, stepping over fallen debris and pushing aside bent panels. His boots clanged against the steel ground. When he reached her, he checked her pulse. It was barely there. "She's still alive," he muttered. But not for long. People had retreated and the medics were gone. There was no time to wait for help. Ronan reached for his kit. He had seen this kind of wound before. It needed a transfusion. But there was no alien blood available, only his own. And everyone knew human blood wasn't supposed to mix with alien biology. Still, he had no choice. Ronan pulled out a clean tube and connected it from his arm to hers. The blood started to flow. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her fingers twitched. Her chest rose a little more deeply. A minute later, her eyes fluttered open. They were a soft gold filled with confusion and pain. "Why?" she whispered weakly. "Why help me?" "Because dying out here alone isn't right," Ronan replied. "Not for anyone." She stared at him, unsure whether to trust him or be afraid. Her kind had been told humans were selfish monsters, but here one was, saving her life. The wound began to close. Her gray skin brightened slightly. The bleeding stopped. But then something strange happened. Her body shivered violently. Her eyes widened. She gasped and grabbed Ronan's wrist tightly. Energy pulsed through her arm and then into his. His own veins glowed for a moment, a faint golden hue spreading across his skin. What is this?" Ronan said, pulling back quickly. The girl sat up suddenly, stronger than before, her movements no longer weak or slow. Her golden eyes locked onto his. "Something's wrong," she said in a low voice. Ronan looked at his arm. The glow had faded, but he felt different. Lighter, stronger, but also connected. He looked at her, and she looked back. "Did something transfer?" he asked. "I don't know," she said, her voice trembling. "But I feel you now, inside me. A link, and something else, something waking up." In the distance, alarms began to blare. Reinforcements were arriving, but not the friendly kind. Ronan stood up and helped her to her feet. She moved like someone reborn. Faster. Sharper. "Can you run?" he asked. "I can fly," she said, surprising even herself. The two ran for cover. But the question lingered in both their minds. What exactly had that blood done? Whatever the answer was, one thing was certain. Neither of them would ever be the same again. Ronan and the alien girl moved quickly through the wreckage. The sound of enemy ships grew louder in the distance. Fire and smoke rose behind them, and the ground trembled as explosions shook the battlefield again. The girl, still holding her side where the wound had been, glanced at Ronan. She felt no pain now. In fact, she felt powerful. Her vision was sharper. Her hearing could pick up distant sounds like never before. Something had changed in her body, and it was all because of his blood. "I still don't know your name," Ronan said as they crouched behind a fallen transport. She hesitated. "Lyra," she replied. "And you?" "Ronan," he said. "We're not out of this yet, Lyra. Those fighters will be scanning soon." "I can feel them," she whispered, closing her eyes. 3, no, 4, coming from the left side, low and fast. Ronan stared at her. "Feel them?" She opened her eyes. "I don't understand it either. It's like my mind is different. I can sense energy, movement. You too. Your heartbeat, your thoughts. Not words, but feelings." Ronan blinked. "Are you reading my mind?" "No," Lyra said, frowning. "Not reading, feeling. We're connected." Ronan leaned against the metal wall. It has to be the blood. I was told human blood was toxic to my kind, Lyra said. But yours healed me, then changed me. And you changed me, Ronan added, showing her his forearm. The skin still carried a faint golden shimmer. They both fell silent. Above them, a patrol drone hovered. Lyra took a deep breath and held Ronan's hand. Trust me, she said. A second later they vanished, at least to the drone's eyes. The machine scanned the area, paused, and then flew away. When it was gone, Ronan gasped and looked around. What did you do? I don't know how, but I made us invisible for a moment, Lyra said, stunned by her own power. It just happened. I thought about hiding and we vanished. Ronan looked at her. You couldn't do that before? No, never. They kept moving, both more alert than before. Something had bonded them. Not just blood, but something deeper. They reached the edge of the canyon. A human scout ship flew low, searching for survivors. Ronan fired a flare. The ship dipped toward them, and minutes later a door opened, pulling them inside. The pilot turned to Ronan. We thought you were dead. Command said no survivors. Ronan looked at Lyra. We're alive, and we need to see a doctor. Now. Inside the ship, the medics ran tests on both of them. Ronan's vitals were strange. His cells were regenerating faster. His strength had gone up by 30%. His brain activity had doubled. The medic frowned. You're not injured, but you're not normal either. Something inside you is adapting. Lyra's scans were even stranger. Her body had rewritten parts of itself using human DNA. New pathways in her brain were glowing with unknown energy. This is impossible, the medic whispered. No, Lyra said softly. It's evolution, and it's just begun. Later, alone in the ship's cabin, Lyra sat beside Ronan. The stars passed by outside the window. Do you feel it too? She asked. Yes, he replied. Like a quiet voice between us. They sat silently, listening to the bond inside them. It was more than connection. It was becoming something greater. Lyra looked out the window. We should be afraid, but I'm not. Neither am I, Ronan said. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, a force had awakened, and it had chosen them. The ship landed on a secure space station orbiting a neutral moon. Human command officers stood at attention as Ronan and Lyra stepped out. Though Lyra wore a plain medical suit, her presence drew eyes. Her skin glowed slightly under the station lights, and her golden eyes were alert, sharp. She didn't walk like someone recovering from near death. She moved like a trained soldier. Ronan had to explain everything in the debrief room. Several officers listened as he spoke. How he found her, how he gave her his blood, and what happened afterward. One officer leaned forward. You're saying your blood healed an alien, then gave her new powers? I'm not guessing, sir, Ronan said. I saw it happen. Lyra stepped forward. I don't know why his blood didn't kill me, but something inside it activated something in me. Another officer, older with sharp eyes, nodded slowly. Run full tests on both of them. DNA, blood, neural scans, everything. Within the hour, Ronan and Lyra were inside separate medical chambers, each surrounded by scientists. Lyra tried to stay calm, but the flashing lights and humming machines made her nervous. One of the doctors approached her carefully. Lyra, we're going to scan your brain activity, just relax. As the test began, the machine beeped faster than normal. A second doctor checked the monitor. That's not possible. The screen showed active connections between parts of Lyra's brain that had never lit up before in her species. And there was something else. A pulse of energy that matched human brainwaves. Somehow her mind had adopted part of Ronan's neural pattern. In the other room, Ronan was going through the same thing. His muscles were stronger, his reaction time faster, and there was a golden glow deep in his bloodstream. Not radiation, not illness, just potential. Later, they were brought together into a secured lab. One general looked between them. You two aren't just healed. You're evolving. Together. We didn't choose this, Ronan said. No, the general replied. But we can't ignore it either. He turned to one of the scientists. Begin the test. A wall lifted on one side of the lab, revealing a combat simulation chamber. Mechanical drones powered up, weapons armed, sensors locked. Ronan's eyes narrowed. Seriously? You need to understand your limits now, the general said. Lyra took a breath and stepped forward. Fine. Let's begin. The drones flew forward, fast and deadly. Lyra raised her hand instinctively, and a wave of force burst from her palm, knocking them aside. She didn't know how she did it. She just felt the threat and acted. Ronan jumped into the fight too. He moved faster than ever before, dodging laser shots with ease, disabling drones with perfect strikes. He wasn't just stronger. His mind seemed to know where the enemy would strike before it happened. The fight lasted only seconds. All drones destroyed. Not a single injury. The lab went silent. The general looked stunned. That wasn't training. That was survival instinct turned into power. Ronan turned to Lyra. You felt it too, didn't you? I didn't think. I just moved. Like we were one. I knew what you were going to do before you did it, Lyra said. It's not just a bond anymore. The scientists whispered among themselves. Words like genetic merging, neural mimicry, and cross-species potential flew through the room. The general nodded slowly. You two might be the beginning of something new. Lyra looked at Ronan. Or something dangerous. Ronan didn't answer. He felt something in his chest. Not fear, not excitement. A warning. Whatever had happened between them, it wasn't done yet. Days passed on the space station, but neither Ronan nor Lyra could sleep peacefully. Something had changed inside both of them, and it was still changing. Ronan woke in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat. He had seen flashes, memories, that weren't his. Planets, cities made of crystal, creatures speaking a language he didn't know but somehow understood. He sat up, breathing heavily. Across the hall, Lyra stood in front of a mirror. Her golden eyes now had faint rings of blue swirling around the pupils. Her skin shimmered when the lights touched it, not like glitter but like energy waiting to burst. She didn't feel sick or weak. In fact, she felt more alive than ever. But in her mind, a voice kept whispering, not words, just feelings, urgency, danger, and connection. She reached out with her thoughts and felt Ronan. He turned suddenly, knowing she was reaching out. You feel that too? He asked, meeting her in the hallway. She nodded. It's not just a link anymore. We're thinking together. They walked together to the viewing deck. Through the wide window, stars drifted by slowly. Silence filled the space, but their thoughts spoke without sound. I saw your memories, Lyra said softly. Your world, your war, your pain. I saw yours too, Ronan replied. You were just a child when the war took your people. She nodded. Now our memories are one. What is this, Ronan? He shook his head. More than a bond. Something else. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the station. Enemy ship approaching. A voice shouted from the intercom. Ronan and Lyra rushed to the control center. Officers barked orders as the holographic map showed a large ship closing in fast. That symbol, Lyra whispered. That's not just a scout. That's a Hunter-class ship. Hunter-class? The general asked. They don't take prisoners, Lyra said. They destroy anything that's unnatural. The general looked at them. They're coming. For you. How would they even know? Ronan asked. Lyra touched her chest. I think they felt the change. Like I feel you. Like I feel them. The general turned to his team. Prepare defenses. Evacuate non-combat personnel. Lyra stepped forward. You can't fight them with normal weapons. Their tech adapts mid-battle. We don't have time to retreat, the general said. We fight with what we've got. Ronan looked at Lyra. Maybe we're what you've got. Everyone turned toward them. You want us to use you as weapons? The general asked. No, Ronan replied. Use us as a chance. Lyra nodded. Let us go out there first. If we can reach their minds, maybe we can stop them before they fire. The general hesitated, then gave the order. Get them a shuttle. You've got 5 minutes. In the hangar, Lyra and Ronan stood side by side. Their bodies glowed faintly, hers golden, his tinged with blue. They held hands as the shuttle launched. As they flew toward the hunter ship, Ronan spoke. Are you afraid? Yes, Lyra replied. But not of them. Then of what? She turned to him. Of what we're becoming. The hunter ship loomed ahead. Black metal, sharp edges, glowing red lights. Its weapons charged slowly, aiming at the station behind them. Ronan closed his eyes. Let's try it. They focused together. Thoughts reached out, deeper than words, past steel, past space, into the minds waiting inside that hunter ship, and they heard something shocking. You were not supposed to merge. Lyra's eyes widened. They know. The voice came again inside both their heads. Human and alien. You broke the cycle. You opened the gate. What gate? Ronan asked, gripping the seat, but there was no answer. The hunter ship suddenly stopped moving. Its lights flickered, and in that moment of silence, Lyra felt something rising, deep within herself. A door opening, one she didn't know existed. The hunter ship floated in space, unmoving. Its massive guns stopped charging. Lights along its surface blinked, dimmed, and then pulsed in strange patterns, like a heartbeat out of rhythm. Inside the small shuttle, Ronan and Lyra sat frozen, both breathing hard. Did you hear that? Ronan whispered. That voice? Lyra nodded. It wasn't just speaking, it touched us, like it already knew us. She clutched her head. Her vision blurred. More memories, ones that didn't belong to her, flashed in her mind. Stars, dying, galaxies forming, strange beings made of light watching from beyond time. There's something inside me, she said quietly. Something that woke up after your blood entered my body. I think it was always there, sleeping. And now it's awake, Ronan said. Suddenly, their shuttle was pulled forward by a tractor beam. The hunter ship had taken hold of them. There was no time to escape. We're going in, Ronan said, gripping the control stick. Get ready. The shuttle passed through a glowing energy barrier and landed inside a silent, empty hangar. No guards, no weapons aimed at them. Just silence. Ronan drew his sidearm, but Lyra raised her hand. Wait, I can feel them. They stepped out slowly. The ship's walls were made of dark living metal that shifted and breathed. Strange symbols lit up with every step they took. Then they saw them, tall alien figures standing motionless near the center of the hangar. Their armor was black with red lines glowing softly. But none moved. Their eyes were closed. Lyra and Ronan approached slowly. They're not dead, Lyra whispered. They're waiting. One of the armored beings opened its eyes and, for the first time, spoke aloud. You are the catalyst. Ronan raised his weapon. Talk. What does that mean? You are the first, the being said, to bond across bloodlines, human and Askari. Two paths never meant to cross. Then why did it happen? Lyra asked. Why didn't I die when he gave me his blood? The being turned to her. Because the blood you carry was always meant to awaken the gate. Ronan frowned. Gate? We keep hearing about this. What is it? The alien looked up. Above them, a massive dome began to shift. Light poured down, and in the center of the ceiling, a glowing shape appeared, a ring of light, swirling and spinning, like a star being born. The gate, the alien said, is not a place, it is a power. One that exists between minds and matter. You opened it when your spirits merged. Lyra held her breath. Then, why are we still alive? Because the gate chose you, the alien answered. But that choice comes with a cost. Suddenly the room darkened. A shadow fell over everything. The red lights dimmed. The alien beings turned their heads to the side, as if listening. It has awakened, and it is watching, the alien whispered. Ronan stepped back. What's watching? The other. The one that lives beyond the stars. The one that fears what you've become. Lyra gasped as a cold wind blew through the hangar, impossible in space. Her body trembled. Not from fear. From something else. From power building inside her again, the alien warriors dropped to one knee. You are not just a hybrid, one of them said. You are the door, the passage. Lyra fell to her knees, holding her head. Light burst from her skin, gold, blue, and white. Her body shook. Ronan grabbed her shoulders. Lyra, stay with me. She looked up at him, eyes glowing bright. I see it now, the future, what's coming, and we're the only ones who can stop it. What is it? He asked. A war, she said. Far bigger than anything we've ever seen. Not between races, between realities. Behind them, the gate in the ceiling pulsed brighter. Something had opened, and something else had just stepped through. The hangar filled with light. The gate above Ronan and Lyra spun faster, color shifting from gold to deep violet. It pulsed like a living thing, then went completely silent. Every alien warrior froze. Ronan helped Lyra to her feet. Her skin still glowed, her breathing heavy. Something just came through, she said. From the center of the hangar, a shadow formed. Not a person, not a machine. Just a shifting shape like smoke and metal mixed together, changing every second. It didn't walk. It glided. Ronan aimed his weapon, but it didn't move toward them. It simply hovered in the air, watching. Then, a voice echoed, not through sound but through their minds. You were never meant to unite. The blood was a barrier, not a bridge. Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm. Then why did the gate open? Because you broke what was forbidden. You opened the wound between worlds. The shape pulsed once, and Ronan suddenly dropped to one knee, holding his head. Pain rushed through his skull like fire. Memories not his own poured in. He saw ruined planets, torn skies, stars collapsing. Lyra rushed to his side. What are you doing to him? He carries the flaw, the voice said. He is still human. You are not. Lyra's heart pounded. He saved me. Gave his blood to keep me alive. If that's a flaw, then I choose it. She stood tall, golden energy rising around her. The being pulsed again, almost shrinking back. It was unsure, confused. Ronan stood slowly, breathing hard. We didn't break anything. We became something new, something stronger. The alien warriors began to rise behind them. Their eyes, once dull, now shimmered with light. You are changing us, one of them said. Your bond is rewriting the old laws. Lyra looked up at the gate. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the gate wasn't a weapon, but a test. The shadowy being moved closer. The lights in the room dimmed. You cannot stop what is coming. The others will rise, the gate will burn. Ronan stepped forward. Then we'll stop them, together. The being hissed, and a burst of dark energy shot from it, fast and deadly. Lyra didn't move. Her hands rose by instinct, and a wall of golden light formed between them and the blast. The attack hit the shield, then vanished like smoke. Everyone froze. Lyra blinked. I didn't mean to do that. Ronan smiled. Guess you don't need a weapon when you are... The being trembled. Its shape grew unstable. You will regret this, it said. And then, in a final flash, it vanished. The shuttle returned to the station in silence. No one cheered. No one clapped. But every soldier, officer, and scientist who saw Ronan and Lyra step off knew something had changed. The bond between them wasn't just powerful, it was the beginning of something bigger than anyone had imagined. Inside the command chamber, the general leaned forward over the table. As Ronan and Lyra finished their report, "You're telling me the enemy isn't just a fleet? It's a force? From beyond reality?" "Yes," Lyra said. "It called itself the Other. It watches through the gates, and now it knows we exist." The general rubbed his forehead. "We've spent years fighting over territory, resources, but we never knew there was something waiting out there." Ronan stood tall. "That's why we need to prepare Earth, and not just Earth. Your people too, Lyra. The whole galaxy needs to hear this." One scientist hesitated. "But if this Other is so powerful, what chance do we have?" Lyra looked at Ronan, then turned to the group. "You saw the scans. You saw what we did together. We stopped that being. We turned its weapon into dust." Ronan added, "Whatever we are now, it's not just human. It's not just alien. It's something new, something the galaxy's never seen before." The room went quiet. Then the general gave a slow nod. "We'll send word," he said. "But I think your fight is just beginning." The next few days passed quickly. Doctors continued testing them, but they found no limit to the changes. Lyra's senses grew sharper. She could move faster, even fly short distances inside the gravity chamber. Ronan's strength doubled, then tripled. His reflexes became so fast that training bots couldn't land a single hit. But more than anything, they felt each other. Even when apart, they could sense the other's heartbeat, emotions, even thoughts. It wasn't just a bond, it was unity. In a quiet moment, the two stood alone on the observation deck, watching a nearby star burn in the dark. Lyra broke the silence. "Do you think this was fate?" Ronan shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe it's just what happens when two people do the right thing. Even when they're not supposed to." She smiled. "You gave me your blood. You risked your life." "You gave it back," he replied. "With interest." She laughed softly. "I don't think we'll ever be normal again." Ronan shook his head. "Good. Normal doesn't save galaxies." Just then, a signal blinked on the station comms. A message, urgent, broadcast from deep space. The general appeared moments later. His face was pale. "We just got a signal from a scout ship near the Andari belt," he said. "They found a gate, a new one, and they saw something step through." Lyra stood straight. "What was it?" "We don't know," he said. "But it looked like you." Everyone went silent. "It wasn't me," Lyra said. "But it might be another one." Ronan clenched his fists. "Then we're not the only ones." "No," the general said. "But you're still the first." As the station powered up its ships, as alliances formed behind closed doors, and as whispers of the gate spread across systems, one thing became clear. This was no longer just a story of war and survival. It was the start of a new age, an age of Gateborn, an age where fear would not be enough to stop change. And at the center of it all stood a human who gave his blood, and an alien girl who became more than anyone ever imagined. Together, they were the spark. Now the fire was spreading. The end